Driven, Remax Hallmark's real estate show, with your hosts, Johnder, Perez, and Dan Salhany.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Driven Real Estate Show by Remax Hallmark. We are your hosts, Johnder, Perez, and
Dan Salhany. Thank you, Johnder.
and you're welcome. Welcome, and we have a very special guest with us today from Remax Hallmark's Bayview Village office. She's been with our brokerage for close to 10 years now. She's a consistent 100% Club award winner. Recently was able to break through the Platinum Award level and has also achieved her Remax Hall of Fame Award. Let's welcome Mary Sigiannis. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you, Johnder. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure to have you. Mary, let's just jump right into this. What's your secret to success in real estate?
Okay, such a big, bold question, right? Always hard to look at yourself under a microscope. Honestly, for me, it's been a really good culmination of all the amazing realtors at Remax Hallmark, like what I've learned from them and what they were willing to share, coupled with relationships and collaborations that, I have behind the scenes. So I think that's what's really helped me. It's been very collaborative.
Absolutely. It's interesting to have that as a response, especially because a lot of us think that success is usually just yourself that's responsible for it. But it's very interesting that you say that it's because of the family and because of the collaboration. So we're going to dig a little bit more deep into that and how that made you successful, Mary. How did you get started?
Okay, well, I know a lot of my colleagues don't probably know, but I started a long time ago, actually, when I think I was just like 19 or 20 years old. I was just a young woman. And, it was at a time where, I was, just trying to figure out who I am as a person. But then at the same time, I had just gotten married very, very young. And trying to work out what was my role as a daughter and as a wife, right? So I came from a very strict Greek Orthodox background where you have a boyfriend, you get married, you get married, you have children. So I didn't really have that support system in place, or even like sort of the guidance to really propel me or anything. And it was a different time. I mean, computers were just being introduced, really. So, it was not something that worked for me at that time. But fast forward now 20 plus years later, and I'm getting divorced and having to figure out how to start my life all over again. And that's really when I sort of made big changes because I was really, really unhappy with my life. So I kind of in 1 year, I left my job, my husband, my matrimonial home, and I studied again to get back into real estate and got my license, and actually started with Remax Hallmark. Got back into it in 2012.
So that's it's very, very. I know it's very tough for you to share that, Mary, and we appreciate that you're kind of giving us a glimpse into, success isn't necessarily all about what we may see on the surface, but a lot of the difficult moments that are. That define us and all of these things that make us grow. So why don't you take us then back during your first attempt at real estate? So this was, as you said, about 30 years ago. You were young, you had a family, you had responsibilities.
I had just gotten married, and then, a couple of years later got pregnant, and therefore it just, like I said, I just didn't really have the guidance that I really needed at that time to push me and to do something bigger and better in real estate. And then again, it was different times. It was totally different times. We didn't have the resources and the tools and everything that we have today, right?
So tell us then, how did you raised 3 children, you had a family, and you went through some difficulty with your relationship. How did you then what was the defining moment that got you back into, I think I got to get back into real estate? And, you've had a very successful, like several years, you've been a very consistent producer. You've done very well with your business and building that up. Was it always that way, or was there, in the beginning when you got back into real estate, what was the challenge that you faced?
Sure. I mean, when I decided to get back into it, I honestly, I didn't have any options to fail. Literally, as lame as that sounds, failure was not an option, because that would have meant my kids didn't have a roof over their head or food in their belly. Even though they were teenagers, they still needed my care. You're not going to throw them out onto the street or anything like that, right? And they were dependent on me. So I actually had something to prove to myself, to my family as well. And I was so driven to prove that I made the right choices now, later on in life, to be happy. And I was going to back it up. No matter what I was going to do, I was going to back it up, that I was going to prove to myself and my family that I deserve to be happy, and I'm going to figure out how to do that. And I started off at the Fairview Mall office and met all the wonderful agents there, but I really felt intimidated because they were like so successful, and I felt scared, like sort of isolated,
Right.
even though everybody was kind and all of that and fun, and but you really don't know how to stand on your own 2 feet yet, right? Mm-hmm. And I started going to office meetings and, trying to absorb everything that they were saying, but I'm trying to figure out what's going to work for me. I don't know what's going to work for me. This is all sort of brand new again, right? And Steve at that point had suggested that I possibly join a team. And I thought, you know what? Sure, I'll try it. So I joined a team, which wasn't a very good team, I'll be very honest with you, but they're no longer with Hallmark.
We won't ask who it is anymore.
Yeah, they're no longer with Hallmark. But having said that, I was always treated with respect, and it was the best decision. It might not have been the best team, but it was absolutely the best decision, because it was sort of like a crash course of real estate, like 3 years of real estate in one. That's right. Kind of how it works.
Going back, you didn't regret the choice you made. Going back, you'd do exactly the same thing.
Oh, exactly. And I probably, the only difference I would have done is maybe like figured out maybe if there was a more suitable team for me, but having said that, I stuck that out almost a year, 11 months or so. And then I got the confidence, to move on and get a lot of deals under my belt and move forward.
Absolutely.
So Mary, with respect to your challenges starting out, you've touched a little bit about how you overcame those challenges. So yesterday during our chat, you made a suggestion that there were certain tasks that you took on and certain opportunities. Do you want to speak to that as far as, how you reached out? I know you talked to Steve when you joined the company, and he had a couple of suggestions for you as far as joining a team and whatnot, but I think there was a couple of other elements that you mentioned as well.
At the point when I started off or later on?
No, when you came back to Hallmark and you were sort of re-energizing, and it was like a rebirth. Right. And you realized, oh my gosh, I'm back and I've got to start somewhere. Yeah.
So honestly, just joining the team and starting to put all the processes in place, right? Putting a CRM together, putting a buyer consultation together, your listing presentation together, all of these things, the sort of like the tools and checklists that you need that are available to us at Hallmark to make a foundation for your business, right? So I honestly just I honestly just started that way, and I started doing open houses. People were generous to, you know, can you do my open house? Absolutely. Started door knocking, cold calling, whatever, everything that was being suggested to me, I was trying. And I had to sort out for myself what was going to work for me.
So if you had to reflect, fast forward, 2019, 2020, I know you've had consistent growth in your business, specifically over the last 5 or 6 years, where you've met different thresholds and you've continued to grow, which is great, because I think you were in a place where most of us are at the beginning, right. And you were able to find a way to reach and break through and so forth. So how would you say that you focused, and what are the tools and resources you use to build your business to where it's at today?
Okay. Well, firstly, I had to really change my mindset. So that's where it began. So before I can even dive into tools and all of that, it really boils down to your mindset. And so I think it was like maybe the end of 2015 or so, I was invited to this meetup group, right? So it was from a colleague, and she's like, why don't we go? We'll have a glass of wine, and, you know, maybe we'll meet some people, network. And I thought, well, I prefer to network this way, naturally, where I get to be really myself and really, you know, learn about people organically. I mean, I think for me that works best. So I said, sure, let's do it. And we went, and that day actually changed the course of my business, because the speaker, this motivational speaker that they had, and for the life of me, I don't even remember his name. How terrible is that? But he sort of changed, he opened my eyes, because the discussion was about negativity and how negative thoughts can be so toxic and infiltrate all areas of our life. And I didn't never consider myself a negative person, ever. Always optimistic, always positive, always everything. But there was always something holding me back. And for the life of me, I didn't quite understand what it was. And through this speech and like thinking about it afterwards, it was the doubt and fear. The doubt and fear that I had for so many different reasons, even allowing myself to reach for my goals and raise my goals. I was afraid to even do that. So I was willing to do the work, because without doing the work, you're going to get nowhere. But I realized that being a daughter of immigrant parents, you know, they instill in you how hard life is, like how difficult life is. Life is hard. Life is hard. So this is over 40 years of this in my head. Life is hard. Life is a challenge. Life is a struggle. And it just dawned on me. And what he had said was, you have to flip the switch. You have to flip the switch in your mind. The minute that you're, and the negative for me was more like, I could say something, but there would be a but at the end of that sentence, always. Yeah, but, you know, where I was always sort of finding an excuse. And I realized, oh my God, I just have to flip the switch on this. Like the minute that I am thinking that way, I'm going to change my mindset. And that's what I did. I literally practiced and identified when I was doing that. And I thought, oh my God, here I am again. I'm putting a but at the end of every sentence. So I removed the but, and I honestly, I felt fearless after that. I'm like, why am I holding myself back? Like, there is no ceiling to what we can do in this business. Like, seriously, maybe not this year, but normally every other year, right? And that's sort of, I went back to the drawing board, as you have to do in any business. And I started, really revamping everything. Have a solid buyer consultation, have a solid listing presentation, practice my scripts, role played with other agents, did all those kind of things, really worked on my CRM. And then I kind of just, I went to business with a new mindset, a new confidence, a new positivity, and I was really truly finding happiness. And after that, honestly, I've just been just happy. Like I am so happy, and I'm so grateful. And I think once I was able, to mold that all together, that's when my business really took off.
So Fearless Mary, that's your new title.
Sure, why not?
Fearless Mary. Give us an idea of pre-COVID and now during COVID. What does a typical day look like for you? Sorry, what does a typical day look like for you?
Sure.
My apologies.
Yeah, no problem. I'm not joining your 5 a.m. club. I wake up at 7, okay? And I wake up, I start my morning with prayer. Before COVID, I start with my prayer and I get ready and I head to the gym. I go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the morning. And then Tuesdays and Saturdays, I play squash. So Tuesday evenings and then Saturday mornings, I play squash. Even if I have an open house, I will make sure all my signs are out, and then I'll go play squash, and then I'll go do my open house. Because the reason I'm sort of really talking about this is because that is what I need to function. Like if I don't get the exercise in, I'm just not the same. When I get my exercise in, I feel like I've already been productive. I feel like I've accomplished something for my body, my mind, and my health. And the rest, I take on the day more relaxed, So I will come back home, I will say my affirmations, do light journaling, and the light journaling is usually just what I'm grateful for. And when you start with your morning of, what you're grateful for, the rest of the day will follow suit. And so then I get ready and I go to the office, and that's usually around 9:30. And I have an assistant there, which she's been a godsend, and she's been the reason that I've been able to do better because she's taking care of all the administration. And then, we tackle the day. So I am not a time blocking kind of individual. I am a checklist kind of person. So I need to have a checklist of what I need to do that week, what I need to do that day. And at a glance on a Monday at the office, I'll be like, all right, these are all the things that need to get done this week. And how am I going to prospect, and how am I going to, when am I going to work on my database, connecting with them and contacting them and spending time with them. And, also maintenance, you got to maintain the business you're working on, right? There's so many little tweaks and everything to that. So I spend a good portion of I'd say 3 days a week doing a lot of the admin, a lot of the reaching out to my database, preparing for pop buys, because I do the Buffini program, which is really about phone calls to your database. It's about personal notes, which I love to do, because that's when you can talk to somebody from your heart and just say, and I make notes about everybody. So I'll ask about their kids, or, about a new job, or whatever, or I'll just, wish them a happy Mother's Day, whatever the case may be. And so I kind of take care of all of that with my assistant sort of on those days. And then the rest is more outside of the office, meetings and whatever I need to get my work done. So my day usually ends around 7.
Mary, you mentioned something. You just mentioned the Buffini, which is great. And I know that Buffini's a a very reputable trainer and coaching program. Anyways, what made you decide to go with that? Was it a choice of that was the trend, or is it just something that resonated with you? Like, what drove you in that direction to go with Buffini?
Sure, I can answer that. It was, I believe, end of 2018. Yeah, 2017, 2018.
Okay.
When one of my colleagues suggested that I come to one of the success tours. And after listening to Brian, who I absolutely love, you know, I've listened to all of his podcasts. I have attended all the tours that I can, you know, that I can here in Toronto, and even went to San Diego to hear him there. I liked his plan. I liked that to grow your business, you've got to plant seeds with the people that you know and respect and care about already. These are the, you know, and you can pick and choose sort of who those people are that, you know, you've worked with, that you identify with, and that, you know, support you as a human being and in your business. So that to me resonated. I was like, I can do this. I can take Paula out for drinks. I can, you know, pop by Leora's for dinner. Like, these are the things that I identified with and I resonated with. So doing that and being able to get the referrals is the bulk of my business, right? And my relationship with other individuals, like my home financing advisor, like the relationship we have and how we work our businesses together. I mean, I'm eternally grateful for. Like, that's all I can say.
So there seems to be a distinct correlation. Johnder and I have had a few interviews, and there seems to be this correlation with everybody having, for example, your morning routine. And I see that Yash here mentioned that I'm the same way. I got to get that exercise in. So I think it's whatever that outlet is that you need, whether it's reading, walking, writing, prayer, affirmations, whatever the case may be. You've just got to find what works for you to get you going. And then further to that, and not that I was trying to plug Buffini in any way, shape, or form, but it sounds like you found something that resonated with you, that was a very natural. And then there's the commitment part of it, and then the accountability part of it that goes together with
That's
respect.
right. For me, like, it just happened to be a system that, you know, you could check off, like, you know, I need to do this. And there's a formula like we do in a business plan where, you know, you can say, I need this many, you know, phone calls. And it's not even really about the transactions. It's about what you need to do to achieve those goals. And it's a compound effect. You know, it really is. It's the habits over and over and over again. And that's the hardest thing to do. I think for me, that was the hardest thing to do, was develop the right habits over and over and over. And that's really, I think, the secret to success. If you can just develop the habits over and over and over.
So Mary, do you love doing all of those things?
Oh, no.
I know you mentioned something yesterday about some of the tasks that are part of our groove.
If it wasn't for dear Ozzy, I would never door knock anymore. But together, we have fun. And we have gotten listings, and we've gotten exercise, and we've had jokes, and we've had girl talk, and it's been wonderful.
And Ozzy's here with us today, so we'll say hi to Ozzy. So Mary, this is great information that you've been giving us, and it gives us a little bit of insight into, I mean, whether or not something we do is necessarily fun, if it's something that we have to do in order for us to be able to achieve that ultimate goal, we find a way to do it. And so you mentioned a lot of the activities, as Dan asked about your daily schedule. Now that we're in the, you know, in this COVID time and with this global pandemic happening, aside from what you used to do, how is it that you're currently working on your business? And then, of course, ultimately, what's keeping you motivated right now to keep on going?
Sure. Actually, as funny as this sounds, this year was a year that I was going to focus a little bit more on other things. So it kind of worked out okay. Like I'm taking courses. So I've been sort of busy studying and, want to achieve certain things there. And one of my written goals this year was volunteering, just give back to the community a little bit more. And so I've, started like just a little Scarborough food drive where I'm collecting some food to take to one of the food banks and, reaching out to my clients and other sort of Scarborough organizations. Like I belong to the Scarborough Breakfast Club, where we attend every Wednesday morning meetings and we tour the Scarborough properties and we talk about all of our listings. And these are wonderful top realtors and from all over. And we come together and we discuss that. So reached out there as well. And it's just another way to give back. It doesn't always have to be about money. Clearly this year is not going to be about money, but that's okay because I literally I was so excited to have time to go back to redoing like my listing presentation, my buyer consultation, doing a digital one, cleaning up Dropbox. Like I was actually excited because I do come from an admin background. So for me, I was excited to sort of clean that up and see what else I could improve so that my assistant could benefit from that, because sometimes I think I just throw things at her too and expect her to know how to do it without really kind of going through every single motion. So now I kind of went through the motion. So I mean that alone took me weeks to do. I think it's just a great opportunity right now for growth in other areas of our life. Take it, enjoy it, be safe, be healthy, be thankful that, and if you're dealing with somebody that has been affected, oh my gosh, like take the time and that you need for that individual. And my heart goes out to everybody that's affected in every way. My daughter is, she works for Costco, front line there, and she's got diabetes. So like I worry every single day. I'm like, Samara, I don't want you to work. Like we argue about this all the time and about how she's got to stay safe and healthy there and protect herself, and she's so wonderful. She's like, I'm dedicated. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Well, she's got a great role model. She's got a great role model, right?
She's her mother's daughter, yeah.
Follows by your example, right? So,
yeah.
So Mary, you've taken us through such a great personal journey. Your challenges, starting out well over 30 years ago in real estate, didn't quite make it back then.
No.
You went into the workforce. You did all you can, raising a family in a traditional way, raising 3 children who are now grown, and they definitely look up to you and everything that you've been achieved. Went through a little bit of a difficulty with the relationship, and then rediscovering real estate. And you also mentioned to us you had a couple of choices. Why did you choose real estate at that point when you had a lot of responsibility? You just, I guess, challenging point in your relationship. Why take the risk? I mean, real estate is a commission-based business. And you told us, and maybe you'll share with everybody, you had a couple of different options. Why did you take that route?
Well, of course, it was something that I was already familiar with and already loved, but I had no idea what kind of animal real estate really truly is. And I feel that it's also evolved over the last 8 years since I joined RE/MAX. Like so much has happened and we're being pulled in every direction. So I mean, first things first, you gotta get rid of all the noise. You gotta get rid of it and not believe every single thing that's coming at you. If you love tech, amazing, go with it. If you love relationships, work that, but don't block it all out, So I know we were talking a little bit about this, but I actually really love homes. Like I love homes. I love decorating. I love being home. I used to love gardening. I don't anymore. Um, but like, I just love what a home offers. And I thought, what better thing you can do for someone than be part like of that journey and participate in something so important. And I thought, before I made my decision, I looked into like, I don't know, maybe I got for sure I knew I had to go back to school, but I felt a lot of things were more of a lateral move, and I wasn't prepared to do that. And I wanted something where it was more like go big or go bold, go big or go home. Like I had to go bold, but
Literally.
but at the same time, when I got into it, I'm like, what did I just do? I have so much responsibility, and I have no money coming in. Like I have no income. Like what was I thinking? So it was scary. But before that, I had thought maybe being a paramedic or a counselor, because I'm just thinking of other things that I might be interested in, but I absolutely made the right decision of getting back into, back to my roots. And it just grew so much in so many different ways. And I'll reiterate how like indebted I am to the other realtors at Hallmark and other brokerages, the friendships and the collaboration and other individuals in my life that help and support my business in every way and will drop what they're doing to help me, and vice versa, of course. So, yeah.
And what's such an inspirational journey that you've been on. So you rediscovered real estate, you worked hard at it, and of course your production and your results and your awards definitely show. But more than monetary, I mean, it's the kind of lifestyle that you live. You get to spend your time with your children. You're impacting so many people. And so, Mary, this is such a fantastic conversation we've had, because so many of us can relate to so many different parts of your journey. Some of us some of our hallmarkers and some of our realtors listening may be single parents who are raising their children, or some of them may be entering into a challenging part of their relationship. Some of them are, suffering from financial difficulty at this point, especially with what's going on right now. So Mary, because you've been through it, and now that we see that, it's the success that we see on the outside isn't really, there's a lot of building blocks to get to that point of success. So now that you've been able to, I guess, reveal to us what you had to go through to be able to achieve what you did and where you are today, what is ultimately your advice to hallmarkers and to realtors listening today or watching this today? What would you tell them, and how do we get out of this challenging situation? How do we keep going? How do we stay positive like you? What's your advice?
How do we stay positive? So again, for me, I have this amazing gift that I can compartmentalize things. Like I can switch something right off and focus on something and get that task sort of done. So I just say, take this opportunity to focus and work on other areas of your life that are equally important, that are going to continue to help you grow as a human being, as a person, as a mother, as a father, whatever, as a daughter, whatever the case may be. Take this time to enjoy it, but don't waste this time. Like, I mean, many of us are still working. I don't have anything massive in the pipeline. I do have a few lease listings, but I'm working out what's coming up in the pipeline. And for me, I've strategized this. Like, I'm not coming full barrel to anybody right now. Everyone is worried and scared. I'm only coming to them from a supportive position. What can I do? Is there something I can do to help? And, of course, some of my clients and friends absolutely have reached out. They now live in Barrie, but their mother and father are here and they need groceries or whatever. Like, of course I'm there. I'm going to go do it. And I feel good doing it. Like, that's part of who we are as human beings. Right. So just enjoy what's happening, but don't forget that what you do now is going to matter in the long run. So
Absolutely.
It really is. And find this time to be like innovative and just have it all ready. Like, get all your ducks in a row. That's how I see it. Like, I've pulled out my files and I've made a master list of everybody that I know that at some point they're going to be buying or selling or leasing or whatever. And I know they're going to need help. So I'm slowly, gently letting them know what's happening in the market and letting them know my opinion of what I think and how we should approach this, or what they should do and when they should do it, but it's always with the intention that we'll get this done. We're getting there. We're almost there, and so, yeah, get your ducks in a row, get your files in order, focus on other areas of your life, enjoy everything. One of the things I love doing is listening to like stand-up comedy. Like, for me, just put on Netflix or YouTube and just listen to some of these comics and just laugh. Like, don't forget to laugh. Like, I think we've been holding our breath for like 2 months now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that amazing, uplifting and very positive advice, Mary. And it definitely puts things into context, especially right now in the challenging situations that we all face. Just maintaining that positivity. And the most important part about there is just coming from a point of contribution at this point, and just putting yourself out there and offering your help. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us. And Mary, just one more thing before we go off the air, if you will. If anybody wants to connect with you, if a fellow RE/MAX Hallmarker in Ontario, or if any other realtor listening to this or watching this when it goes on the air, if they want to connect with you, send you a referral, or ask you any questions, or get a bit of your positivity, how can they reach out to you? It's website.
On my website, I have all my information. So it's torontohomeswithmary.com.
Okay,
Pretty
wonderful.
easy.
All right.
Toronto.
Thank you so much again, Mary. And thank you very much for everybody who have been listening. And we'll see you on another episode of the Driven Real Estate Show by RE/MAX Hallmark. Thank you, and take care, everybody.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.